Hello, guys. Welcome. I am Koya with Amanda and Jen. We're going to be talking Disney villains. The only reason I'm allowed to be here because I myself am our own little Stone Club Disney villain. Nice and chaotic when I have to be.
And it's 25 Days of Disney, guys.
Yep, we're still there.
So, Disney villains, they've had their roles, they've done tons of things. But I think the real question is, since we were holding polls and whatnot, asking everybody else what their favorites, I think we all deep down have our favorite princess, our favorite hero, our favorite movie. But do you guys actually have a favorite villain? I have like a couple that are in my a top three that kind of compete for number one. But what do you guys got?
I really like Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog as a villain. That's one of my top favorite villains.
That is a very respectable choice, honestly.
I don't have a favorite villain. I don't. I tried thinking so hard, and it's like, I guess I just never got into that part of like a Disney concept or like a Disney trend or something. I don't know. I've never been like, so linked, like this is my favorite one. I don't know.
I guess you could also put it in like not really a like but hate the least, which again for you it seems like of all the people I could put out it would be like Gaston. Just because he knows how to sing.
Gaston is hilarious, I will admit.
He's hilariously dumb.
Yeah, the stuff that goes on, but I wouldn't say like I think he's the best villain or he's my favorite, so listen, I guess I'm useless when it comes to choosing.
No, not you.
Pectorals. I would also be that dumb. Let's all be real here.
No, you be LeFou. Let's be real.
Wow.
No, I feel like you can really play it off, like with like a haircut, not in a bad way. It would be like comical.
So I'm hearing is I just grow my hair a little bit more, spike it up, just become Hades, capture that flamboyancy.
Flamboyant and sassy.
Listen, you know me. I am a very sassy individual.
Exactly. And you're going blue from your computer screen right now.
Yeah, so you are Hades. So, Amanda, last year for 25 Days of Disney, we talked all about the Disney Princess franchise. So I don't know if there's something you want to step upon with that connected with this.
So similar to how there's a Disney Princess franchise where not all the Disney princesses are considered part of the franchise, there is a Disney villains franchise, whereas you notice some villains are on more merchandise than others. And they're actually, with the Disney villains, they have it in two categories. Because with princesses, there was the princesses and then the heroines, Disney heroines, and then there's primary villains and recurring members. What's kind of funny for the primary villains list, they are specifically villains, not antagonists. Very specifically, it's about 11 primary villains and then a lot of everyone else is considered a recurring member. But we all know who like the top are. We see them everywhere. Maleficent, the evil queen from Snow White, and Ursula. Like those are, I feel like, are the top three that you see everywhere. Oh, I'm sorry, and Cruella, top four.
I think there might be someone that kind of tops Cruella on that. I think we're the mad psychopathic brother himself, Scar. I've seen a lot more Scar than Cruella on some things.
Maybe because I see more girls' items, stuff that's geared towards women more. I see a lot of Cruella merchandise, especially funny enough, in places like LuLaRoe, they sell a lot of Cruella merchandise.
Really?
Hopefully they're not taking after the movie.
There's not as much qualifications. There's not really specific reasoning for these villains being the top. They just happen to be the most popular. That's why they're on more merchandise. There's no specific criteria like there is for the Disney Princess franchise, where they had to have been in their own movie. They had to be, they kind of appeared on the TV show first. They had a lot of list requirements.
How they broke it down in Wreck-It Ralph 2, where they're like, does he obviously how to become a princess? Did you have somebody chase after you? Can you sing? can you do all this like tier list? They're like, then you are a princess. Like how they have that like little tier list of things they had to bring down.
Oh, that's a good way to think about it.
While villains just literally are just like, oh, I don't like you, and then everybody's like, all right, you're the villain. Okay, and then you got Captain Hook's like, please, I was eaten, and there's a clock.
There's some sub-franchises with the Disney villains as well, though. They have Disney's Divas of Darkness, which apparently they're like the counterpart to the Disney princesses because it targets female audience. But then there's Disney's Sinister Cats, 13 Reflections of Evil, which that 13 Reflections of Evil was a group made specifically for Epcot.
That's interesting.
An Epcot pin trading event back in 2013.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now imagine this: a Disney villain with a power, kind of like how Marvel has like the fourth wall breaks of Deadpool. Imagine if a Disney villain had that power. How goofy that could be.
Who do you think of all of the villains would break the third wall?
You mean the fourth wall? Where they like?
Or maybe Hades did.
Honestly, I think if anybody did, it was what's her name from Emperor's New Groove?
Yzma.
I think Yzma probably would have been the closest one to doing so if she did not in the movie. And to my knowledge, I don't ever recall her breaking the fourth wall. It was all.
Oh, is it the fourth wall?
The fourth wall is when they directly, where they directly address the crowd. That is the fourth wall. The third wall is their own little universe.
Oopsie. Who do you think would, of all the villains, would want to break the fourth wall to get to the audience?
So now that's the question of the day. Who would want to?
I feel like someone with a big ego.
Jafar.
See, I don't think Jafar would, but like he does have that type of power to where he would like hold the scepter to the camera and be like, "How about you?" Like that kind of would be like a way to do that. To be honest, this is gonna sound very weird, but how about Syndrome? As a kid, he was let down by his hero. Yeah, he was. Yeah, from Incredibles, he was let down as a kid. He didn't really have that much faith going up. To the point he became an adult, all of that hate. So he'd be like, "No other kids will be like me." So he would literally tilt towards the camera, right? That seems like the next one not they could like do. But since he also has that like futuristic type of technology that they gave him, and I can harness the power of another universe. To the point he goes into it, so he's forced to talk to nothing but the fourth wall.
Yeah. I think Gaston would break the wall because he has such a big ego.
He would just flex and the screen would break.
Honestly, imagine a song like that. Like, they just remix of No One's Like Gaston, except no one can adjust the crowd like Gaston. He just gives a big old grin right to the camera. Great. One of my top favorites.
Oh, man.
Anybody says that is probably one of my favorite.
I definitely wanted to talk about how we did a poll on our Instagram about the villains. And Scar won. Scar won out of many of the top villains we posted. Some of the villains who we had was Hades, Jafar, Ursula, Maleficent, Yzma, Cruella de Vil, Evil Queen, Queen of Hearts, Captain Hook. I think that was about it. If I forgot, I'll insert it. But yeah, Scar won out of... I think I said Jafar.
Did you say Jafar?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, out of all of them, Scar won. And that shocked me because we were taking polls from Instagram story, and then a lot of people were commenting on the actual just regular posts that you could get to more people through hashtags. Mm-hmm. And so I thought it was going to be Hades, which... he, for some reason, has this big, huge, super popular crowd that loves him. Yeah. So I really thought it was going to be Hades, but...
So that's like the typical difficult question when I was looking at these polls. I was thinking, well, if somebody says the best villain, are they referring to which one they think has done the best? Are they going towards who think is the best at being a villain? Like, that kind of changes that question a lot, but Scar does overall capture that. Like, he killed his own brother. Like,
I feel like he traumatized everyone's childhood, so maybe that's why he was chosen.
I will say that type of betrayal goes on the level of, like, the Harry Potter when Cedric Diggory, his dad, found his son. That simple, that's my boy. Like, that right there kind of, like, that's one of those scenes that you can always, like, get upset about. So Scar not only scarred us, but he also scarred himself. And vice versa. But to be honest, I was looking at the poll votes. He actually
and so
tied for the biggest blowout. He destroyed Jafar with a 7 to, or I think it was like an 8 vote. Scar and Jafar, when they were getting voted on, I think he beat Jafar 8-1 on votes.
yeah, I was doing like different combinations, and then when it would be a knockout round, like Lady Tremaine didn't make it very far.
No.
I always forget
Who else? Queen of Hearts didn't make it very far. So when we were knocking them out, then I would pair up new ones together. Kind of like interesting to see how the polls went. And I want to thank everyone who did the polls. We actually got a large amount of viewers, and some of them were just other people who don't even follow us were doing this. So we appreciate it so much. That helps us out, and it helped us with this video to get this concept going. So thank you for doing that.
No, I actually do have to pose a question since you brought up one of the more annoying Disney villains, the Queen of Hearts. Which version did you use?
I used the one that was from the animated Alice in Wonderland. These are all animated ones.
Okay, I'm about to say, I was going to say, like, I love Alice in Wonderland. It's one of my favorite movies. I love all the characters, especially the Happy Birthday to you, to me, to you. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. I'm going to be saying that a lot because I love Disney music. It's just... But that's something else I really like about Disney villains. Even though they're villains, they get their own songs, and they still kill it like the main characters do. Like, you cannot...
That is very true.
Deny that they are very good at their craft, no matter what it may be. Even if they fail as a villain, they're good musicians.
That is very true.
The creepy ones. Like Claude Frollo, for example. He is a creep. There is no other word to describe him besides creep. But the song he did with, I think it was called Hellfire. Might be the name of it. That song is so good! It's so bad! Like, morally, but it's so good!
Well, sir, the villains are usually aimed towards the older audience. You know, that's where you get a little bit of adult stuff in the movies. You know, stuff that the kids won't fully understand, but the adults who are watching it with the kids will. Did you know that Disney actually has a villains board game? It only features 6 villains, though. It features Maleficent, Captain Hook, Jafar, Ursula, Prince John of all of them, and Queen of Hearts.
Who's Prince John?
Prince John is from Robin Hood. He's the little lion in the crown who sucks his thumb at night.
Oh, him.
I loved his character. He was such a lovable character, even though he was dumber than a bag of rocks like me.
Yeah. I'm not sure why they chose him to be in that one, but it's called Villainous is the name of the game.
Probably because he was a likable character. Like, he wasn't, like, hateable enough like Lotso, Hug, and Bear, because everybody who I know should hate Lotso, and if they don't, we're having an argument. Lotso was like that, like, is that villain I mentioned earlier when I was like, I hate him. There's no other way to describe him than hate.
Yeah.
Like, every other villain to me has like a nice little reason why I could like them, like, to an extent. Like, for example, Hades. I like his flamboyant nature. He's somebody you could laugh at, especially considering he goes, like, when Hercules gets his god powers back and then just face tuck, pops it back out. Okay, I deserve that. Like, that type of casualness right there. Claude Frollo, I liked his character because it helped Quasi.
And he adds comedy.
Exactly. He's a comedic, laughable slapstick type of character as well.
There's a lot of comedy with Hades, too.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
And when we did that vote on Instagram, he was in the top 3. Scar came in first. Hades came in second, and Cruella de Vil came in third, if I'm looking at our numbers. Because we put out 2 polls of this, because we didn't get a lot of results the one day, and some people voted a second time.
Oh, it's 2 separate votes. Okay.
So that's what I was trying to look at it. Either way, it does come out that Scar is in first, Hades came in second, I believe, then Cruella's in third. And a lot of times with these polls, it has to do with, like, you know, what time of the day we put it out at. These polls, I forget which week I put them out, so it might have been a time of day because of the presidential voting, people might have stayed off of social media on purpose. So that's why I think this last poll we didn't do as good getting the final results, because I think it had to deal with that week or when people were just trying to avoid social media.
Respectable. That is very respectable.
Overall, the Disney Villains franchise, it's not exactly like their Disney Princess franchise, but it is pretty comparable.
It does have its
I
own
guess you
little
can say
universe.
that the Divas of Darkness are the most closest counterpart to the Disney Princess franchise.
Now imagine a table, like a nice round table with that. They're all drinking coffee. Imagine how hilarious this conversation would be and how over the top everybody would be, especially Yzma. Just
I raised him.
exactly. I hate Cusco and all this other stuff, but they're all just like, yes, we hate all these people. Let's do something about it. And they're all just like,
Oh man.
I can see somebody go, anybody want a refill? You see Kronk come in. I heard somebody wanted a refill.
That's funny.
Why does it sound like a hilarious like TV series? Like they're all together doing their big old plan, but after every week they try and plan, it fails. They just get rid of one person all the time. Until
Who
the end
gets
of the
voted off the island next?
Yes. Your plan sucked. Goodbye. But Yzma's just the first one to go, even though it's her idea.
Like a faux reality TV show, but with Disney villains.
Exactly.
That's hilarious.
America's Next Top Villain.
That does pose a question, though. Since there's the Divas of Darkness and Disney Princesses, and there's Disney Princes, is there a villain version of the Disney Princes? Which, for me, if I could come up with a name, I'll call it the Kings of Chaos.
There's
So you're
not
just saying all the
official.
male villains?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like how there's the Disney Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Princess, because it's not the princess. I hate the words princess and princess. I can never pronunciate them right.
You see what I mean? How there's like the three? Like there's princesses and princesses, but then there's the Divas of Darkness. Well, where do the males go?
That's a good question that I don't know the answer to, because they are not on the official Disney fandom site.
Disney.
Yeah,
Kids.
so like Gaston and all of like
Gaston,
Scar and all the
Scar.
male villains would
Frollo.
be part of
Now
that.
imagine that round table. Now that would be pretty good. Gaston and Hades go like, Hades would be like, I could literally kill you. Like if you don't shut up, I could kill you. Gaston would be
Well,
like,
you know what?
I'm too handsome to die.
The reason there's the Disney Princes is only because of the Disney Princess franchise. So because they are the counterpart to those princesses. So, and then the Disney Divas of Darkness,
God.
I think it should be, I think it's only, sorry.
No, I just
No.
put Jennifer. That's all.
It's because
It's just this is so funny.
just
Divas of
imagine the
Darkness is
conversation.
like geared towards a female audience. I think that's why there isn't as much as much with the guys.
We'll come up with a name, DJ Fast, before we end the video. What would you name the guy group?
Easy, the Kings of Chaos.
Oh, okay, just that. Okay.
And
Yeah.
we already have a good idea of who would be in there.
There you go.
You know, definitely Hades.
And that would be a horrible dinner.
Oh yeah.
That would be a hilarious dinner. Like I said, I just want to see Hades and Gaston talk for like 5 minutes. That's all I need.
Overall, Disney Villains franchise is similar to the princesses, but not the same restrictions, not the same criteria needed to be part of the franchise. So,
Yes.
but still almost just as popular as far as
Those are
marketing
better.
goes.
You cannot tell me villains are better because I myself am a villain.
Okay. So
Just
see you guys
Just until the
tomorrow.
mustache grows. I will literally become our own version of Captain Hook. Just let me grow the mustache.
All right.
See you guys tomorrow. 25 Days
Bye,
of
guys.
Disney.